My name is McKenna Ewen. I'm a multimedia producer at the Star Tribune, and I started working with online video when I was in high school. And my buddies and I basically had a YouTube channel where we would put up these funny videos that we would create in our spare time. And we started to look at it, and we were getting a pretty good audience with some of the stuff we were putting up. In one video, it was a Mario Kart spoof where we all dressed up in costumes and scootered around our high school. Actually had about 100,000 people watch it. And at that time I started to realize this is a pretty powerful tool. And a lot of people were seeing this video. And so I started to think, what if you could do this with something that mattered? What if you could do something more important but reach that same audience? And that's how I got into where I am today. Today on my to-do list I have two things. I'll be headed to the fair where we'll be doing an interview with Governor Mark Dayton, and then shortly after that I'll be headed to Minneapolis South for their football practice. It'll be a prep sports story. So a lot of times my day changes a lot, and it changes very quickly, and it's kind of the nature of news. With breaking news, it's a huge traffic driver on our website. A lot of people like to see what's going on right now, and so inside this building we have a few people who are ready to go at any time to something, a last minute press conference that was just announced, a B truck rolls over on 35W. Basically my job is whatever people want to see happening right now, I have to go find it, and then I have to bring it to them. A lot of times I joke that with my job, whatever people are talking about during the day is what I have to go find, and that's kind of the nature of online news, is that if you are going by clicks, people are going to click on the thing that they want to see, and I get to go see the thing that they want to see, so it's kind of awesome. When I was in college, I kind of had the mentality that everything that I would do had to be on my own, and if I wanted to get it done, I would have to learn whatever it is that I wanted to do so I could get it done. And it's something that I wish I would have done a little bit differently. I think there is a lot of value in learning to collaborate with other people and to really work off other people's skill sets. One example is, when I'm in college, I'm trying to learn how to code every single different type of coding language to do the project that I want, rather than working with somebody who has that as their strength and who has a similar goal in mind or want to do a similar project. And I think that's what's beneficial about being in a larger newsroom, is you don't have the feeling that you have to do everything yourself. It's nice to know what goes into everything, so you can be helpful if a developer has questions and make their job easier, but you don't have to learn every line of code to do an interactive project or something like that. So I think learning to work with your classmates, find out what their strengths are, and see how they can help you can be really beneficial. Ask a lot of questions, work hard, you can stay late, that's okay, and just be enthusiastic about what you do. The most challenging about my job here is balancing what I find meaningful and what I find fun. And the reason that I got into this job is because I found a lot of value in storytelling, because I found a lot of value in the journalistic work that we do. But a lot of the work that I do, I also find very enjoyable. Traveling on the road to Vikings games, I can't say is particularly meaningful. It's not really doing, maybe it is a public service, but it's not the type of work that I got into this business to do. But I still love doing it. I enjoy going to the games. I enjoy being up close on the sideline. And so that's kind of what I'm always balancing, is how does this fit into the reason why I'm working here, or is this just fun? And if it's just fun, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but how do you balance the two? The most exciting part about my job is that when other people say they love their job because it's different every day, I get to laugh because I know that it's not really that different, that my job is the one that's that different. My job is the one where in the morning I'm at a political convention, in the afternoon I am at a football game, and in the evening I'm watching some B truck roll over on 35W as passengers run out screaming. It is very, very, very different every day. I was at Minneapolis South, and we were shooting a video, a prep sports video about their football team. And just towards the end of practice, I saw a couple Secret Service guys line up around the field. And I was like, this could only be 2 people. And I know the president's in D.C., so it had to be Joe Biden. And I remembered he was speaking in Minneapolis. So about 10 minutes later, Joe Biden rolls out onto the field, followed by about 50 traveling press members. And all of them are constrained to the end zone. They can't go anywhere near it. And here's me with the high school football team, the only one there right in the center of the action. So Joe Biden starts walking right towards us, and we shoot the whole thing, and it was awesome. And then we had a couple of photographers who were in the press pool, and later on they joked with me and they said, the White House was going to try and pull you out of there, but they thought that you were actually a high school student at Minneapolis South and you were with the team, and so we can't remove him from the situation because he was there before we were. So at the time, the White House had no idea that I was shooting for a newspaper. They freaked out after because they didn't know what Joe said while the cameras weren't all rolling, and it turned out to be a really awesome situation. So it's kind of an example of, a lot of times in this job, I worry that my age is in some way different from other people who are doing the same thing. A lot of times, the first question people always ask is, wow, so how long have you been at the paper? And then they're waiting for me to confess that I'm an intern and this is my first semester and I don't know what I'm doing. And then they're like, okay, since 2008, that's pretty good. You've been there for a while. And then in some cases it actually helps out. People don't freak out as much when you show up. They're a little bit less guarded. And in this case, the White House let me shoot the vice president being about a half a foot away from him for about a half hour. So I guess it pays off sometime.